A thin young striker made his debut for Santos on March 7, 2009. He was just 17, but most people had heard of him as the Brazil's next football prodigy. This is the story of Neymar's transfer from Barcelona to PSG, which impacted the world of football forever. Before his debut game for Santos, Neymar was already a household name. He was invited to practice with Real Madrid when he was 14 years old. He'd been on a number of TV shows and had been interviewed a number of times. He soon established himself as a crucial player for both Santos and the national team. It wasn't a question of whether, but when and to whom he would move to Europe. He chose Barcelona in 2013. He began to deliver on his potential after a tough first season, forming the lethal MSN forward line with Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. They won 2 league titles, for Copa del Rey and the Champions League together in 2014-15, giving Barcelona its second-ever triple. In 2017, it was improbable, but not impossible, that he would depart. It seemed unimaginable that he would leave for a wealthy upstart like PSG. Yet, paradoxically, it was a match against PSG that convinced him to do so. Neymar sparked one of the great comebacks, La Remontada, in the 2016-17 Champions League quarterfinals, when Barcelona scored 3 goals after the 88th minute against PSG. Neymar scored twice and set up Sergi Roberto's game-winning goal in the 95th minute. Messi, not Neymar, was the one who was applauded afterward. Messi remained the focus, and it appeared to Neymar at the time that there was nothing he could do to escape the royal shadow. That was the game that convinced Neymar that he needed to go it alone. To assemble his own team. He was aware that PSG had attempted to sign him the previous summer. So, following a meeting between Neymar Sr. and PSG owner Nasser Al-Khelaifi, the wheels for an unusual move to Paris were set in action. Barcelona had no desire to sell, but it didn't matter if PSG could afford to pay his buyout clause. Money was not an issue because it was supported by the Qatari National Wealth Fund. They contributed the €222 million necessary, and Neymar was their star player. Despite some off-the-field issues and dissatisfaction, he has elevated PSG to a higher level of European competitiveness, leading them to the 2020 Champions League final and establishing them as serious competitors rather than merely well-heeled upstarts. The rest of France has benefited from it as well. More than Zlatan Ibrahimovic, more than David Beckham, Neymar's entrance sparked worldwide interest in Ligue 1 like no other player has ever done. Because people want to watch Neymar, TV contracts have soared, sponsorship has increased, and games around the country sell out weeks in advance. PSG, on the other hand, soared, while Barcelona plummeted. They'd lost the player they hoped would one day replace Messi, but they still had plenty of cash on hand. At the very least, they could rebuild their team if they spent it correctly. Instead, they became agitated. They paid almost €100 million for Ousmane Dembele, a potential but inexperienced attacker who had cost Borussia Dortmund only €15 million a year before. Philippe Coutinho, on the other hand, was a different story. They had been following Liverpool's playmaker for a while. They purchased him the following January for a cost that might potentially reach to €180 million. They had spent the all of Neymar's windfall, plus some, on 2 players who would be major failures in just a few months. Dembele has been plagued by injuries and inconsistency, and Coutinho was finally loaned away. To add insult to injury, Coutinho was a member of the Bayern Munich squad that crushed Barcelona 8-2 in the 2020 Champions League. Those 2 gaffes are the most high-profile instances of a team that has made squandering money an art form. They've surrounded Messi with substandard and elderly players in recent years, occasionally both. The resulting stagnation has resulted in the current state of upheaval, with Messi attempting to go and President Josep Maria Bartomeu being driven out. Neymar's transfer to PSG would have been spectacular even if it hadn't been for the unfathomably high cost, which more than quadrupled the world transfer record and may never be surpassed. It's the ripple effects, though, that make it so remarkable. PSG became a key factor in Europe as a result of this one move, which strengthened the football economy of an entire country and contributed to Barcelona's decline. This was the transfer that changed football.